Hello there, and welcome to another Starfield video. So I guess the first thing I will say is, if you're wondering, Crimson, why are you like stood instead of sitting behind your desk? So currently with this latest update, there's a bug with the photo mode where when you activate the photo mode inside the ship, it basically gets darker and darker to the point of being super dark. And then you have to like exit the ship and come back in to basically, yeah. So I wanted to show off my new office space and my new ship. So we're going to be, I do apologize if the camera kind of pans because it tends to do that. But anyway, so as the title says, today we're going to be looking at, or I'm going to be giving my opinion on 5 more things I think Starfield should add to the game. I say more things because I initially did a video a while ago, a couple of months ago, on things Starfield should add. Now, obviously, I want to preface this by saying this is all just my opinion, and it's things that I think would make the game better. You guys may disagree with me, you guys, which is perfectly fine. You know, everyone has a right to their own opinion and stuff. You also may have kind of your own idea of things you'd like to see them add, so let me know in the comments of the video. Anyway, so we'll start off the list with something that I was chatting to some of the people in the Discord about. And especially with the new edition of the extreme difficulty, it makes ground combat challenging but fun, but it makes space combat nigh impossible unless you've got a very specific build, at least for me. Now, I'm not the best pilot, even though I'm called Crimson Flyboy. There's a reason I'm always covered in blood. So one of the things I'd like to see them add would be an upgrade system that would allow us to upgrade the various modules on our ship, similar to how Elite Dangerous does it. So if you're not familiar with Elite Dangerous is a space kind of sci-fi ship simulator game. It's kind of a little bit similar to Starfield. They're ships in space, and there's a bit of a story, but that's where it kind of ends. They're very different. Elite Dangerous is kind of like imagine like Truck Simulator, but in space. But there's also combat stuff. But yeah, so basically in Elite Dangerous, you've got various modules of your ship. Like you've got your shields, you've got your weapons, you've got your reactor, you've got your frame shift drive, which is your grav drive. And obviously there's different variants of these, much like in Starfield. You know, you can have a lighter grav drive that would make jumping, you know, you're lighter, so you're more nimble, but you could get a heavier one that allows you to jump further. But Elite Dangerous goes one step further by adding engineers. It was one of the first major updates. So scattered around the bubble, which is the settled system, there's these NPCs that basically they each focus on specific things, and it can be a bit of a test to find them. Finding them, you have to you can obviously use the internet, but in game you're supposed to rely on rumors and talking to people. And it can function similar in Starfield. So, like, say, for instance, you could go to one person that specializes in shields. And they could modify your shields in various ways. You could increase the shield. So, let's say, for instance, in Starfield, the Assurance SG will focus on. We could increase that shield from 1600 to basically, like, double the shield. So, it will go up to, like, say, 3200. But obviously, there'd be a side effect. The side effect was it would regen twice as slow, and maybe it would add a little bit more math to your ship. You could also go the route of you could make the regen faster. So instead of having, like, let's say a 12% regen, it could have a 60% regen. But the downside is the shield would lose 40% of its capacity. So instead of being 1600 shield, it could be, for instance, 1200 shields or so and so. Another example is, let's say, weapons. Like you could take the beam weapons, for instance, the laser weapons. You could set it so that the laser weapons they do extra damage to the hull. A side effect would be that they overheat, which is how Elite Dangerous does it. They overheat a lot faster. And again, you could count this out by making it so that they basically, you know, like when your like little energy bar or your magazine bar on the ship, it would go down faster. We could do one for like the frame shift driver in this game. Like I said, I know you're hearing me use terms that are very familiar with Elite Dangerous, and it's just kind of because the This, obviously, we wouldn't, we're not going to take the system and just copy and paste. We'd have to make our own thing, because ultimately Starfield is meant to be a single-player game, and it's not catering to PvP. Elite Dangerous, you can play it single-player, but it has those kind of PvP elements, so, like, there's a lot of min-maxing with the engineer system, and I don't think we'd need that min-maxing in-game. Like, another example, like, it'd be kind of cool if, say, for instance, you could upgrade your reactor so that your reactor had more power, but at the cost of lower hull. Or vice versa, you could set it so that all modules, another one with all modules, they could have more hull, but obviously they'd be heavier. Again, another one with weapons, they could make it, like, say, for instance, railguns. Railguns have a chance to penetrate, like, through the shield. So, for instance, let's say 5% of the damage the railgun would penetrate through the shield, which, again, it'd be kind of cool. Like I said, it's just a pretty cool kind of thing that I'd like to see them add, just because I feel like it would allow, currently in game, our ships, from the outside point of view, our ships are all very unique and they feel unique. And now with the decorator system, as you can see in my ship, they're also, they're more unique, they're more varied, allowing us to upgrade and customize the different modules of our ship, from weapons to shields to hull to reactor, stuff like that, even like cargo, would be more, it would allow a more unique and varied gameplay, So that's pretty much for the first one. So the second one, this is kind of a smaller one, but one that I really think that the game needs to add. An ability to upload and download player ships. There's, as you've seen on my channel, I've reviewed some amazing ships from players in game, and I've also shown some of my own ships. And while the method to kind of, like, if you want to use someone's ship, you have to basically build it yourself. And that can be tricky depending on if the player might not have given, let's say they might not have given a tutorial to build their ship. Then you're kind of like, well, like, goddamn, that ship looks cool, but I can't build it. Or another example is, now that we have custom interiors, while recreating someone's ship isn't too difficult, trying to build their interiors can be very tricky. So having a system where we can upload and download ships and kind of use them as kind of a blueprint system would be really cool. Now, a game that does this, and does this really well, is Space Engineers, a game that I played on stream, and I mentioned it quite a bit. So in Space Engineers, they have a website, and basically that website allows you, it's kind of built into the game by default. You can blueprint a ship in game, and then you save it, and then once the ship is blueprinted or saved, it's saved locally, and then it's up to you whether you want to just keep it locally, which is handy if you want to transfer between saves. So for instance, let's say if I'm playing on one world and I make a ship and I want another world, bang, blueprint, there it is. Again, this on its own, this would be very, very cool, because from a personal gameplay point of view, the ability to imagine you can save a ship and then instead you don't have to worry about going and through the Unity and losing it. It's always going to be there. You can go to one of the vendors and you can, or let's say there could be a specific location on the map where you can pay, like it'll load up your ship, it'll spawn the ship in front of you and be like, here's your ship, it's going to cost you so-and-so, but you can buy it there and then, Now, obviously, the other element to this is in Space Engineers, it's linked to a website. I think it's called mod.io, which, again, Bethesda already have. They have their own kind of website and stuff, and they could go the route of just kind of turning it into something akin to a mod, maybe. I don't know. But it is something, like I said, I'd like to see them do, because the ship builder is probably one of the coolest features. It probably is the coolest feature the game has added. It is. There's no probably, at least in my opinion. But yeah, it'd be really cool, because it would add extra kind of, it would add extra kind of replayability, and just in general, because people will be more interested to trying out other players' ships and stuff. But yeah, that's number 2. So at number 3 on the list, I do apologize, my character's like, he's like looking left and right. He doesn't like looking at the camera. When he does, he looks like he's on Aurora. So the third one is more outpost objects, like walls, roofs, windows, stuff like that, similar to Fallout 4's settlement system. Because currently with the outpost system, how it works is and I've talked about this before, it's meant to be more of you're building a kind of a manufacturing plant, or potentially like some way to produce resources, and that's kind of what they went with for the better part of it. Now, obviously, there's nothing stopping you from putting down one of the halves and making it into a little kind of a house and stuff. But considering if you look at the various planets around, there's different POIs and different stuff, and some of the settlements are a lot more intricate than, let's say, a standard hab with some door or with some like chairs and a table and a bed. If they gave us the ability to have walls and doors, like the sort of stuff you need to build a house and to build like a functioning settlement, so that we could actually make our outposts into things other than manufacturing plants or, farming, resource farming areas. Like even like one of the things I'd love to do is I'd love to be able to make a kind of like a cabin / villa in the middle of a forest. And currently we don't really have access to that. I will say I went through the hassle of getting the botany up to the level to unlock greenhouses, thinking it was going to give me these cool greenhouses with like a glass kind of, like you could see through everything. But then I learned the hard way those greenhouses are not. They're not. You can't really live in them necessarily. I mean, you could if you wanted to, but you're not really supposed to. But yeah, just giving us like new tile sets and new pieces, which I'm sure Bethesda will at some point. But it's just, like I said, it's just something I feel like it'd be nice to get it sooner rather than later. Because currently with the outpost system, I feel like a lot of people don't mess with it too much unless you're trying to build. Like, don't get me wrong, there is some usefulness to the outpost. You can farm resources for XP, for money, for roleplay purposes too. But it'd be, with the new update, with the ship decorator, I feel like less and less people are going to be kind of using outposts as a way to live on the planets. So hopefully that, like I said, it'll more than likely come. Now, fourth on the list is something that I've been thinking for a while. Like I said, I had planned this video in advance. I usually I'll write some ideas on a board, and then I'll kind of let them sit for a while and just so I can think about them. Because with a lot of this stuff, it's again, even though this is just kind of my opinion, I like the things I kind of put forward to be things that would make sense from a gameplay point of view, so that's why. But one of the things is a proper bounty system. Now, in the most recent trailer, we got a potential teaser where I'm not really sure. I don't think it was confirmed, but one of the scenes in the new the May update, we seen what looked to be some sort of a kind of a room, and it had a chair and stuff, and then it had a kind of a bounty board with a load of wanted posters. So I think that this kind of confirms that we're probably getting some form of a bounty system with the Trackers Alliance, because they are a bounty guild, the bounty hunting guild type thing. But currently, in the game, we're kind of limited. There's missions to go and hunt down specific people, but you just have to kill them. You don't have to bring them in. We have brigs in game in our ships. So it'd be cool if we had bounties where we could go and capture people, make use of the EM for bringing in people that don't want to surrender, or we could use our silver tongues to basically convince them to. Now, we obviously wouldn't have to either. We could allow you to kind of play the role play, the character who just shoots to kill sort of stuff. Something like this would definitely add to the kind of the variety of the gameplay loop. Even tying it in with factional stuff. Imagine you could bring the specific bounties tied to the UC, bring them into Sergeant Yumi. For Freestar Collective ones, we could bring them into the Rangers. For Crimson Fleet could have one where you're hunting down ex-Crimson Fleet members and stuff. And then you could have missions where they're working together. Imagine catching which we kind of see in with the Vevictus, where he sends us after some kind of rogue warlords and war criminals and stuff. It'd be kind of cool. But yeah, that's, like I said, it's something that more than likely is going to be coming. But I just thought it'd be, like I said, and I think a lot of people have probably thought about this. You see the brig on your ship, and most of us have watched Mandalorian, and we're I just want to have a scene where it's I can bring you in warm or cold. You know, it'd be pretty badass. And then finally, the last thing on this, and this is obviously something that's less of a, what was that flash? Whoops. This is obviously less of a like a gameplay feature or thing, but planetary biome improvements. So now that Bethesda have given us this new map, which is really, really cool, and we're exploring on planets more, I would like to see more variety. Like, planets do have a variety, but they're kind of limited on their how kind of extreme they are. Like, some planets will have these high mountains, which are really cool, but I'd love to see, like, other things. Like, I'd love to see lush tropical forests or jungles, or even, like, imagine, like, a kind of a, like, an alpine forest sort of thing. Like, the forests in games are quite good, but they're not, like, super dense. You know, we've got no massive trees, and, like, we have these massive trees on Earth. Like, we have the sequoia trees, I believe they're called. Like, they're huge. Like, where's our alien trees, you know? Another thing is, like, we've got deserts and stuff, but, like, where's the actual, like, proper rolling deserts with, like, giant dunes, like Dune-esque. Yeah, I'm saying Dune as in the TV show. The second time I said Dune, the TV show. The first time I was talking about the hills. Like, you know, where, like, the temperature is, like, really, like, not extremely hot, but, like, you know, like, it's, like, there's no water and stuff, like, and they're, like, scattered hidden oases. Same with, say, for instance, like snowy planets. Like, whereas, like, there is snow planets in game, but for the most part, it just looks like they've kind of taken a planet and kind of sprinkled some snow over it. You know, like, it's like, give us like deep snow where, like, our character, like, walks slower. Like, you know, like, it's almost like they're walking in, like, kind of like knee-deep water and stuff. Like, specifically also giving us new types of plants and animals, because as you've seen in my recent streams, if you watch my streams, I've been really partial to the planetary exploration, because it's something that I haven't really done much of personally. And I'm just, like, now kind of aware of what's out there, and it's, like, really cool. And the creatures are awesome, don't get me wrong, but there is an overlap. Like, one of the issues I'm noticing, I'm a big water creature. There's probably only 4 or 5 water creatures in the game. So the fact that you have, like, dozens of planets with water on them, with water life, and you're kind of seeing the same sort of creatures, it's a bit, you know. Now, obviously, with the land creatures, there is some overlap, but a lot of it's more so, like, with these creatures, it's like they're reskinned. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, but I'd like them to expand on it. Like, we have some big creatures, but we don't have a lot of huge creatures. Like, give us a world that has, like, some sandworms from, like Dune style, you know? Or, like, a world with giant, like, flying creatures, you know? The sort of thing where, like, as you're about to, like, land on the planet, it's like, you know, your ship is, like, warning, kind of like akin to Subnautica, where it's like Leviathan-class creatures existing, you know, tread carefully sort of stuff. And the same goes with, like, because this is something I also talked about on stream. Again, I'm plugging my stream, I know I'm a bad boy. But just the idea of having, like, Ark does a system with some creatures where they have, like, a kind of a size modifier, like a scale. And the scale can go from, like, 0.2 up to, like, 1.82. And basically what that means is creatures can vary in size from 0.2% of the base size to, like, 2 times. And I think that would be quite cool, because currently when it comes to the, like, various creatures in the game, like, for instance, we'll talk about the dodos, you know, they're kind of everywhere and anywhere on planets. They're all the same size. If they implemented a system that would determine their... Oh, my game just crashed. I apologize. Give me one moment. I do apologize there. I don't know why my game crashed. I've just been standing still. Oh, yeah. But yeah, so like I was saying, just having, like, more variety on the planets would be something nice, because Bethesda's put this big emphasis on exploration. Like Todd Howard has said from the start, like, he's a big fan of exploration and stuff. Oh, I do apologize. Also, my HUD is back, which is a bit problematic. But yeah, so just kind of improving on that would be, like, a net positive for exploration, because exploration already is really fun. Like I said, as is, it's awesome. With the new map, it's currently more fun because you can see a lot more. When they add the new rover system, it's going to make it even more fun. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Like I said, hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think of what I've kind of listed. Like, what's your opinion on them? Would you like to see them? Some you're not a fan of? And then, like I said at the start, let me know things you'd like to see them add to the game. Because obviously, like, we're only kind of just getting started with Starfield, even though we're probably like we're about probably seven months in now, maybe 8 months in. So we still have a long road ahead of us. Hopefully that road will be filled with a lot of fun updates and expansions and stuff. But yeah, as always, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this sort of content, and check out some other content. Bye-bye.